You know, it's that time of the week again.
It is Monday Night Mission with Dan Marty Hottie and
the man that has nearly blown the roof off of every major arena, not just around the country, but around the globe. The man that led Men on a Mission to Tag Team Championship Gold in the World Wrestling Federation in Rocked MSG like it's never been rocked before at WrestleMania 10. I don't know how his name can only have 5 letters, but he is the Man on a Mission, Oscar. Brand new Monday Night Mission begins now.
there are so many missions.
Wrestling fans looking for the perfect holiday gift? Discount VIP packages and tickets to Boston Wrestling Soul Survivor 10 Back to the 80s, Saturday night, April the 16th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts are on sale now. Join WWE Hall of Famer Jake the Snake Roberts, 3-time WWE Tag Team Champions Axe and Smash Demolition, The Wild Berzerker, and more 1980s legends to be announced. Take part in a VIP exclusive Q&A session. Meet the wrestling icons up close and personal in an autograph and photo fan fest. Then get ready as the superstars and legends of yesterday, today, and tomorrow take part in a night of white-hot in-ring action. Discount VIP packages and tickets are on sale now for a limited time at bostonwrestling.com. Join us for a professional wrestling reunion decades in the making, April the 16th. Wrestling fans, we warned you this day would come. Unfortunately, we're running out of original episodes of Wrestling Insider's Party with Marty each and every Thursday night at 10 p.m., but we're starting up that Indiegogo. You can help the cause. You can help Marty's show continue each and every week. Nobody does it like Marty. We had an incredible time with him at our 20th anniversary bash, November 13th at Memorial Hall here in Melrose. We want to have the good times keep on rolling, but we can't do it without you. Look for the Indiegogo link in the comment section below or across our website and social media platforms. We have some great perks, great rewards where you can even meet Marty himself. There's nothing like it. Since July of 2020, every week we've brought you the show. We need your help to keep on going. We tell you, without wrestling fans, there is no professional wrestling, and there's no better time to help the cause now. Let's keep Marty rocking each and every Thursday night. Wrestling fans looking for the perfect holiday gift? Discount VIP packages and tickets to Boston Wrestling Soul Survivor 10 Back to the 80s, Saturday night, April the 16th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts are on sale now. Join WWE Hall of Famer Jake the Snake Roberts, 3-time WWE Tag Team Champions Axe and Smash Demolition, The Wild Berzerker, and more 1980s legends to be announced. Take part in a VIP exclusive Q&A session. Meet the wrestling icons up close and personal in an autograph and photo fan fest. Then get ready as the superstars and legends of yesterday, today, and tomorrow take part in a night of white-hot in-ring action. Discount VIP packages and tickets are on sale now for a limited time at bostonwrestling.com. Join us for a professional wrestling reunion decades in the making, April the 16th.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Reiss.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, it is that time of week again. You have just submitted to a 3-hour WWE Monday Night Raw as we begin Christmas week. And that means it's time for the guiding light of the WWF Tag Team Champions, Men on a Mission in the World Wrestling Federation from 1994, managerial extraordinaire, Men on a Mission's own Oscar. Oscar, it is a pleasure to have you with us, but because it is a holiday week, you deserve a holiday treat. Joining us is a man on a mission of a different kind, here, there, and everywhere around the country, around the globe, the president of Boston Wrestling MWF, and a whole lot more, Dr. David Reiss. So you get a little threesome Christmas week.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, it is a pleasure to be with two good friends on a holiday week.
That's what the holidays are about. Friends getting together.
Oscar, how far away from the phone are you? You sound like you're in New Zealand.
Okay, how about now?
A little better.
All right.
You're holding the phone helps.
My pleasure to be here.
All right.
Our pleasure to have you, because these days you are the hardest man in show business to get a hold of.
It seems that way.
Well, you know what? It's tough enjoying the golden sunshine of the 619 out in San Diego, California.
I know that's right.
It's freezing here. It's 54.
Well, it was about half that today when I got to the studio wrapped in a scarf, and Oscar is getting acclimated down in Hotlanta, trying to find the closest Golden Corral.
It was 70 degrees day before yesterday, and it's 58 today. So the weather is fickle, but we have some good days out here, so I can't complain.
All right. Well, Oscar, this is a treat, like I said, to be able to have a guest with us online. I think this is the first time we have done this. What have you two been conjuring up that I don't know about as I was slaving away with Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive?
All right, Dr. Reiss, you got the floor. What's going on, man? You know better than me.
Okay. Well, things have been pretty busy, needless to say, because who isn't stressed these days? But I've been actively working a number of new projects. I mean, I've been connected with the Concussion Foundation and Chris Nowinski for about a dozen years, but I'm now officially their psychiatric consultant, mostly helping out on the hotline that they've set up, because they're mostly research oriented, but they now do have a clinical hotline because they've gotten so many calls with people with problems, and so we're working on that. And then through Nowinski, I'm now working with AEW as a psychiatric consultant to help them, and it's nice to have organizations that are aware of the need for mental health intervention and open to providing that when necessary.
Wow, I'm sorry, Oscar.
How much how through these efforts, I mean, how busy is it keeping you? How much like, are you flooded with calls now with AEW and concussion people with problems?
In terms of concussion, yeah, absolutely. We've just started in terms of AEW, so it's starting out slowly, but I'm involved and it's going.
No, man, that is just fantastic. I mean, it's a combination of things that I think we've been talking about over the years, to have a structure set up to help athletes, in time of need. So my heartfelt congratulations to you for finally getting it. I knew you were the guy, for the project, and I am so glad that you're involved. Now, we're not going to ask you too much because I know that you're on, you got NDA protocols that are in place, but how rewarding is it right now?
Well, for me personally, as you just said, we've been struggling to set up some kind of structure for years. We've put a lot of work and effort, time, money, energy into it, and it's very rewarding to now have that bearing fruit. And yeah, of course, everything is confidential, but without going into any details, people are making use of my services and hopefully benefiting by it.
Okay, now, with everything going on, what is your wish list to see, set up? Like, what kind of programs to spin off from this situation would you like to see?
Well, I mean, we're still working on structure, and hopefully this can be duplicated for, other organizations and other groups. But not only to provide not just emergency care, which is not really what I'm doing for them, but basically just to have services available to refer people, to provide people to direct assistance, and so people have a place to go, and so that it's openly talked about, and that it's not a stigma to say, hey, I got some issues and I'm dealing with those issues. No one sees it as a stigma to go in because you have an aching knee. Well, if you got anxiety or some depression, it should be the same thing, and we're working to make it basically equivalent. That you have an aching knee, you go to this place. You have some anxiety or depression or some other concerns, you go to a different place, but it's just basically the same procedure.
Now we've been talking about, for instance, a hotline forever. I mean, it's like the birth of a child that you've been culminating for years, and we have been discussing exactly what you're doing ad nauseum. How rewarding is it to you to finally see it coming to fruition?
It's both rewarding and frustrating. In terms of CLF, and you can go to their website, Concussion Legacy Foundation. They do have a hotline available. The problem is getting people in to see, providers where they're located, which the whole mental health system is overloaded and pretty broken right now. But it is very rewarding that we're able to help most people. Right now, we're dealing with the complexities that during the pandemic, there were waivers. So like if a doc, say myself, as long as I'm working for a place physically from a place where I'm licensed, I was able to treat people anywhere in the country. And I didn't have to be licensed where they were, which was the old rule. That expired October 31st, and we all expected it to be extended at least through the year and maybe even made permanently, but it hasn't been. So right now we're in a sort of nowhere land in terms of knowing, whether we can or can't treat outside of a state that we're physically licensed, doing telepsych. So there's a lot of rearranging right now. So there are frustrations in setting it up, but at least we've got a mechanism going. And it's overloaded with calls. The problem is just getting it going, and it is extremely rewarding when you can get someone online, provide some intervention, get them hooked up with some help they need, and we've done that for a good number of people despite the frustrations.
Okay, yeah, I see how it is. You referred me to one individual. I'm not going to mention any names. But outside of that, I've got a couple of other people that have come to me personally, and I see how frustrating it can be, not doing the work, but structuring the work. But
right,
anything
just the mechanics of it. Yeah. And that's another thing, is it doesn't have to be for formal mental health treatment. We
right.
have to expand just in terms of peer support, mentoring, just whatever's useful. It doesn't always have to be specific therapy or medication, just whatever might be useful.
Okay. Now, AEW for a second. Like I said, we're not going to really get into it, but are you going to be in the house at AEW in the future, coming up to do some some in-person work?
We're working on the specifics of that, at least by being able to meet people in person. And I was actually hoping that would occur, right after the new year, but now with the new variants and all that stuff. And, I ain't a young chicken, so I'm being careful. So I'm not sure exactly when, but I expect that will, and I hope that will happen in the relatively near future.
All right, Dan, you got some questions for the good doctor? And we got to tiptoe around this because he's got a non-disclosure agreement, so we're being pretty general.
Well, it's not my first rodeo, believe it or not, Oscar. I'm somewhat familiar with that.
Excuse me, I forgot who I was talking to.
Well, Doctor, what has me interested as far as what you're doing on the CFL end, or CLF, I'm sorry. Are you working with athletes in all genres as opposed to specifically professional wrestling like you are with the AEW work you've been doing?
Absolutely. Obviously, football, hockey, lacrosse, soccer, you name it. We've had people, and it's not just professionals. We've got basically from a high school level, even people who never continued their career past high school but are having difficulties that they can relate back to that. Mm-hmm. So basically every contact sport, and I'm not personally dealing with kids, but people whose problems date back to high school sports.
Wow.
As well as have people wearing their Super Bowl rings.
Well, as Oscar noted, you guys have been trying to work on this hotline idea since I've known you back in 2014 when we first met. Did Nowinski and Company basically take that idea and try and enhance it, or was it something they were working on their own and you just kind of collaborated on it to make something bigger and better?
Well, as I say, they were really focused, and still are focused on research. They're not a clinical organization, but they received so many calls, they decided to set up a hotline, and that's where I became involved. But it was basically their idea to do it. I don't take any credit for that. But they realized the need was there that no one else was really providing. So they went ahead and at their expense, they're a nonprofit organization and there's no charge. They set that up, and we're all doing that basically as a nonprofit pro bono effort.
Oh, really? That's great. And if there is someone that is in need that may come across this, they can get the information on the Concussion Legacy website?
Yes, and they can contact them, and then, they send referrals to me or whoever may be appropriate. Sometimes it's just a matter of hooking someone up with someone locally. Sometimes it's providing some intervention or even getting someone into a hospital at times. So it goes anywhere from basically informational to some pretty serious situations, but it's available.
Well, I found interesting, and maybe I heard this wrong when the conversation with the three of us began, but did you say that it was Nowinski's foundation that helped guide you to AEW?
Chris made the introduction for me, yes.
Wow. Now, see, I would have thought it would have been with another company, but interesting how things work out sometimes.
Yeah. I see where you. I'm sorry, butt in, but I see where you're going with that. I know that they have a very strong relationship with other companies, so yeah, I thought it would swing that way, but obviously it didn't.
Well, I think
without going into any details, basically, Chris is involved with a lot of different organizations, and where there's a need that he can help out, he helps out. So there's really no politics involved in that. It's just that this was an opportunity and we took advantage of it, and hopefully it will work out for the best for everyone.
Well, I think AEW should be awfully proud of themselves for being what I would consider to be the forerunner in what you're doing and what everyone involved in the process is doing right now. It's long overdue. I think it's pretty sad that you had to see the suicide of Daphne for people to really open their eyes, even more so than maybe the three of us that have, been in the grind, so to speak, and know it, especially the peers that we have that are outside of the national spotlight on a week-to-week basis, what they go through, and even those that are in the national spotlight week-to-week. It's two kind of different stresses that they face, the ones that are active, and then it's a different type of stress once you're out of it, when you go from, having your action figure in Walmart to go to working at Walmart.
Absolutely.
Any resource that's available, I think, is absolutely fantastic. I have so much admiration and respect for you, Dr. Reiss. I hope you know from over the years what you've tried to do, and it's nice to see now. Again, we've only known each other since 2014, but now as 2021 comes to a close, it looks like so many positive things are happening all at the same time. It's almost like the perfect storm.
There've been a lot of different things that have contributed, some good, some tragic, obviously. But it's good to see people taking notice and people being aware and being open. And the people I'm working with now are just very open and really want the best for everyone involved.
It's just like, I think I noted to you when we were having a text conversation not too long ago. Imagine if these programs were available in the 90s or the 2000s when we were having just the rash of deaths almost week after week at certain points. And, You know, how many of the members of the Brotherhood, and I guess you could even call it the Sisterhood now, where there's so many ladies active full-time in the sport, that could still be with us right now. And that's just talking about pro wrestling. That's not even including, you know, the issues that those and other, like you said, contact sports go through.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, if you go back and look at just, say, some of the pay-per-views that Oscar was involved with in WWF from 93 to 95, you know, I bet you 25 years ago, athletes in their prime, maybe a good third, if not more, of those individuals, those healthy athletes in their prime, are no longer with us. And I think a lot of it, I think we'd be idiotic to say that the majority of them weren't preventable in some way.
Through all the ribbing that I went through and the stresses of the job, I asked about a program just like this back then, and it was non-existent, and it was so sad because I really could have used some therapy.
Well,
there's a lot of resistance out there to mental health issues. I'll tell you one quick story, and this has nothing to do with anyone I'm working with. And I won't mention the organization or even the sport. But I was at the Sports Lawyers Association meeting. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm involved in that because of these issues. And the lawyer from one organization, one team, organization.
Doctor, did you pull away from the phone a little bit? You got kind of quiet.
Yeah, I can, yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Can you
That's
hear me
there
now?
you go.
Perfect.
Yeah, there
Okay.
you go.
Yeah. The lawyer from one organization came up to me. We were just talking offhandedly, and he said, you know, I think we could really use this. I'm going to go back to my owner. And a week later, he sent me an email and said, my owner said, we're not the team with the problems.
Oh,
So that's the attitude we were facing. I won't say what sport or anything, but it was a team, not an organization to make that, you know, wasn't wrestling. But that's the resistance we've been up against for years, as well as the legal issues of, you know, people were afraid, even Cauliflower was afraid, well, if we open this up, do we have some liability? Which was a reasonable question. But, you know, in my view, the answer was the liability is in ignoring it, not in taking care of it the best way you can.
you know, I don't want to take a dig at the Cauliflower Alley Club, but they did make an announcement at this year's reunion. I know you gentlemen were not there in person, but they noted that over the past 2 years, I believe they'd given out six figures in grants to those in need. I mean, what a better investment in the money from the membership dues and our reunions and different endeavors we have each year to try and help the coffers, so to speak, too. Even if they don't want to be responsible for a hotline or a program like that, how about helping fund it, you know?
Yeah, and that was what going way back, and it was a reasonable question at the time. I'm not saying it was an unreasonable question at all, but that definitely changed because like the last time I was there, I haven't been able to be there the last few years, I did give a seminar on depression, so it was much more open. But that was the resistance that was just within the athletic community. You know, some for very valid reasons because there were legal issues involved, but we're getting past that slowly.
Well, I mean, just for the number of funerals and such that the Cauliflower pays for every year, if some of those funerals could be prevented by helping fund hotlines or different programs or endeavors that talents of today and yesterday could utilize, I think it would be smart for CAC. I think it'd be a wise investment of the money. As a member of the CAC going back to 1995, I know, without knowing some of the, perhaps like you said, the responsibilities and legalities that may go through it, I don't know if them making a donation to a program like that would make them obligated legally to anything. And I would like to see the money go towards a program like that. But again, that's just one member's opinion.
Two things. First of all, the lawyer that you spoke to at the sports lawyers thing, his owner was just ignorant because there's not a sport in any league that does not have a need for a program where athletes are suffering mentally. That's where suicides and everything else come in. And the second thing is this, and this is, and I'm gonna let Dr. Reiss go in a second because I know he got things to do. but this is important. Would it be prudent, Dan and Dr. Reiss, for us to revisit with Cauliflower Alley, structuring a letter proposing to them to revisit the possibility of opening up this program within their ranks?
I think it would be a great idea. I don't want to speak for anyone else other than myself, but Cauliflower is well aware they have our programs as a platform for anything they need to try and help the Cauliflower agenda, and I think this should be part of the Cauliflower agenda. Again, one member's opinion, but I've been around the dance for a long time. I've been around through several CAC presidents. I've been on to reunions, even back when they used to have them here on the East Coast. I think I'm pretty well versed in what they do. You know, we've made a lot of donations over the years to the CAC, and I'd like to think, you know, our voice would count for something, at least on this end. I don't want to speak for you guys.
Okay, now, Dr. Reiss, hold on 1 second. I'll ask you. Okay, now you gotta think about, you know, contractually your obligations. That's the first thing, and then to your time management. With those two things in mind, could you be a part of something like that? Cauliflower Alley concern.
Those are issues. I mean, in terms of legalities, that can be worked out, because if you're just, you know, referring people and there really isn't any liability in there, if it's structured right. The bigger concern, which is a very realistic concern, is once you open that up, the floodgates open, and you have to be prepared to handle what's coming through. So there's a lot of groundwork to do, no matter what organization. Because there's such a great need that once that's available, it can become very overwhelming very quickly. Personally speaking for myself, I don't know where I'd put my time right now, but there's surely other people available. But there does need to be the groundwork to make sure that you can provide the service to the basically sizable number of people you can expect to react, maybe not immediately, but within a few months.
So you think, Dr. Reiss, in your opinion, that it could get bigger than anyone expects?
Well, I'm getting to address that.
Oh, okay.
Eventually, under the auspices of what it is we're trying to do, let's say we had a name, okay? And let's say we had a name. Eventually, help is going to be needed. I'm going to tell you why. If Dr. Reiss is successful with AEW, he has experience. I'm going to take football for a reason, for an example. He has experience dealing with football. AEW is in junction with a football team,
right? Yeah.
So it stands to reason that if he's successful with the AEW individuals, expansion is inevitable. Wouldn't you say that, David?
I would hope so. You know, I'm not talking about any specific organizations or whatever, but I would certainly hope so.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just common sense, to be honest. Expansion is inevitable because, I mean, once it's out of the bag, the AEW got this program. This program is successful. Other people are going to have to own up that they need it, and then boom goes the dynamite. So I'll be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, I just do want to add, just to make it clear, that I have direct permission from AEW to put on my social media that I am their consultant. So this isn't a secret in any way. I don't want to get into any specifics, but the fact that this is ongoing, I have direct permission from them to, it's on my social media right now, and it's not a secret.
Well, I have to say I'm very proud of you. I know how much you have to offer the sport, and there's so many athletes that I think are going to benefit from it. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but even years from now, that AEW has opened the door in-house, which I think brings a comfort level to it. I know WWE, since the Daphne incident, has made, different practices available to individuals, but nothing in-house. And I think the fact that AEW is doing it the way they're doing it, I think it is a much more beneficial way to do it than how WWE is doing it. That's one man's opinion. I am not speaking for anyone else on this call, but I can only call it as I see it. Again, if I had a hat on, I would tip it to Tony Khan and everyone at AEW for what they're trying to do, and I hope every major league organization that has their independent contractors under some kind of a contract will follow in their lead, whether it's David Reiss or a doctor from somewhere else in the world, because it's needed as much as they need doctors to examine necks and backs and any other problem. The brain needs as much love as any other body part.
There you go. That's right.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for having me on, and to a good holidays and a Merry Christmas and a better 2022.
Well, you know what? I
All
think 2021 perked up just a little bit over what was a very depressing 2020. Hopefully things will continue to move in the right direction. You know, we've had so many exciting things happening on our end in the wrestling world, but this is some really important real-life stuff that you're involved with right now, Doctor. And again, all the respect in the world to you for going out of your way. I know how hard you've worked behind the scenes to try and make it happen. For my partner in crime, the man on a mission, the guiding light of the WWF Tag Team Champion Men on a Mission, I'm the guy that introduces the show, Dan Marty. Until we speak again, folks, we'll see you live tomorrow night. We'll be back with Oscar next Monday night after WWE Raw. Until we speak again, can we use the C word, Oscar?
Yep.
We hope you and yours continue to have a very merry Christmas season. Good night from Boston. Thank you for joining us. Please give the video a big thumbs up, leave us a comment, and subscribe to the channel to enjoy more great content. Don't forget, you can help keep wrestling legends working. Check out our eBay store and join the Boston Wrestling family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling so we can produce more in-depth shoot interviews.